Welcome to Real Bible. I'm Carol Salee, and this video is brought to you by the Salee Group. In each episode of Real Bible, we'll strive to apply real truth from a real book to real life. I'm delighted to have you as part of this study called Confident. I hope you've watched the intro video because it has some of the information you'll need in our time together. Don't forget to click on the link on the handout. In the intro, I talked about my daughter, Julie. Let's give equal time to my daughter, Jill. Jill won her first beauty pageant when she was in high school. She went on to win her pageant at her college and competed in our state's pageant. Well, one of the things Jill had to prepare for each pageant was her platform, a social issue she was dedicated to and wanted to promote. Jill chose an issue in which she believed she could make a difference in the lives of teenagers. In political campaigns, politicians choose platforms too. They choose topics or principles or issues and make them the focus of their speeches and their efforts on behalf of our country. It's something in which they believe they can make a difference. Well, much like a pageant contestant or a politician, of which I am neither, I also have a platform. And my issue is this: the widespread lack of confidence in women. I believe it's an issue in which God wants to make a difference in our lives. But before we can really talk about this issue, we need to stop and clarify a few things. How would you define the words confidence and confident? Well, dictionaries define them this way. Confidence is full trust or faith in the powers, trustworthiness, or reliability of a person or a thing. To be confident means to have strong belief or full assurance, to be fully convinced of something. But those dictionary definitions actually fall short because there's no mention of God in either definition. Now, if you insert him into the definition, it revolutionizes the meaning. Let's look at it this way: confidence. It's full trust or belief in God's powers, God's trustworthiness, or his reliability. And to be confident means to have strong belief or full assurance in God. Now, we can get our confidence from the wrong source. Because remember, confidence is full trust in God and his abilities. It's believing he is trustworthy and reliable. Confidence is about having complete faith in him, not in yourself. And he's a great place to put your confidence because he never fails. But the world tries to convince you that confidence is somehow about you and what you can do or can't do, or about what you have and don't have. I just randomly thought of what are some things that a typical woman might find her confidence in. Here's a quick list. She has a beautiful face, she has a great body, a handsome husband, a faithful husband, well-behaved children, stylish wardrobe, cool new car, fancy house in the right neighborhood, being part of what is perceived as an in crowd, the member of a specific group or club. She has a dazzling personality, great job, business owner, career executive position, social media influencer, successful podcast or blog, a degree in higher education or beyond, lots of social media followers with lots of likes. Maybe she's a great singer or a good artist. The problem with these sources of confidence is that everything on this list is temporary. A car rusts, a stylish wardrobe goes out of style, relationships fail, you can lose a job in an instant, you can get blasted or shamed on social media, money dries up. It's important to understand that confidence should have nothing to do with your looks, your family, or random status symbols like jobs or houses in certain neighborhoods. That's the wrong source. The right source. Being a confident woman means you are fully convinced of God's love for you. You believe what he says, not what everybody else says. God confidence means you trust in and depend on him and the strength of his character and his abilities. You have complete faith in him, not yourself. You are fully assured that he is in charge of your life and wants you to become all that he designed you to be. That kind of God confidence is designed to last a lifetime. I have a close friend who is so gorgeous and talented. She is funny and she is smart and she can sing so beautifully. She's successful at her job. However, she appears to have no confidence at all, even though from outward appearances, it seems like she should. I've even said to her, I'm not seeing the source of this complete lack of confidence. I look at her and I wonder, why can't she see how fantastic God created her to be? What is holding her back? Well, I think most of us are like my friend. There is an epidemic among women today, and it's called a lack of confidence. And it has to do with the source that women are trusting in to give them confidence. When epidemic is described as an infection that spreads rapidly and affects large number of people in a given population, it's an outbreak of an illness that spreads wildly in excess of what is usually expected for a given period of time. When my daughter Julie was the new girl in town at her middle school, her class experienced a hepatitis A outbreak, and she got it. And she was out of school for about 2 weeks. So when she got back to school, she had earned the nickname Hep Girl. Well, that's tough when you're new to a school, and it affected her. She spent the next 6 weeks hiding out in the bathroom stall, even eating her lunch in there. Julie got caught up in two epidemics, medical and emotional, and they affected the way that she behaved at school. I can relate to Julie's need to hide out. My husband Phil is a pastor, and we have served at a really special church for 23 years. Same church, same position for him, same career for me, same home in which we raised our kids and launched them off into the world, extended family nearby, what we thought were deep and lasting friendships that we invested our lives in. I knew what my life was about, and I felt like everything was in place, and then it wasn't. After some unfortunate and unseen circumstances, we left that church, that home, even that state. We moved to a church in a city in which we knew no one and had no family near to us. No one. Nothing was familiar. Nothing felt like home. And I struggled in ways I had never struggled before. I lost all confidence in God's plan for my life. And for the first 6 weeks that we were at this new church, I ended up sobbing in one of the bathroom stalls. Look what I had done without even noticing. I'd built up my own self-confidence on temporary things. And when all of that was taken away, I actually was truly ready for God to do a new work in my life, to build my confidence on Him and Him alone. Just like you experience the effects of a disease, you'll bear the consequences when your confidence is misplaced or missing. If you catch a lack of confidence, you'll end up doing things you never imagined yourself doing. You'll hide out in weird places to avoid the scrutiny of others. You'll do things to get attention. You'll go along with what others are doing because you think it will improve your status with them. This is no way to live your life. It's just not what God had in mind when He created you, when He created woman. Well, let's take a look at the first woman that God created. She doesn't get her actual name until Genesis 3, but we know her as Eve. Well, Genesis 1:26, Genesis is the first book of the Bible. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27. These verses take place on the sixth day of God's creation of the universe. And here's what it says. Then God said, let us, and I'm going to put some emphasis here, make man in our image according to our likeness. They will rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the livestock, all the earth, and the creatures that crawl on the earth. So God created man in His own image. He created him in the image of God. He created them, male and female. Everything that God had made up to this point was an incredible display of His power. But nothing in His creation so far had the capacity to be in an intimate relationship with Him. Until the creation of humanity, God just simply said, let there be light, and there was light. Let there be dirt, and there was dirt. He spoke, and it came into being. But when He got ready to create humanity, that's you and me, the Bible presents a conversation between God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. God said, and here's that emphasis again, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. In essence, God was saying, I want to be personally involved with this part of my creation. I want to put my hands on them and bring them to life. And I don't know about you, but the thought of the Trinity planning for our creation, it just does something for me. I love to picture discussions about body shapes and hair colors, the way knees and elbows will bend. I mean, think about it. If our elbows didn't bend, we would be like Barbie. We would have to go around with straight arms everywhere. And by the way, I don't know what's with this extra skin when you get older in life and that arm has so much extra to work with. Think about the way a smile will create crinkle lines around the eyes, the way all of the tiniest neurons and synapses in the brain work together to allow us to function every day. More went into our creation than just the way we look and the way our bodies work. God said He wanted human beings to be created in His image. We are the only part of creation that has this privilege and this distinction. Image carries the essence of that which it represented. that God's work would be accomplished through the image bearer. We have the capacity to represent God and to act like Him. What makes us a unique part of God's creation is that we share aspect of His character. Our unique quality in all of creation is that there are characteristics God has that are within us too, like courage and mercy and a capacity to love and extend grace. It is being made in the image of God that allows us to be in relationship with Him. Since God and humans share this likeness, it should not be surprising that a relationship between the two, God and humanity, is the focus of the rest of the Bible. We find our purpose as we seek to deepen our relationship with God, as we strive to portray His character. Being made in the image of God gives us the opportunity to demonstrate to the world what God is like by the way we live our lives. We have the capacity to represent God. Our character and our qualities help show off who God is. He made you in His image, and you are sacred and precious to Him because you bear His image, regardless of whatever standards the world may have. Because you are created in the image of God, that weaves worth into the fiber of your being. Your value is automatically built into your design. You received it as a gift from God when He gave you life. When Julie was about 8 years old, she got a stuffed animal tiger that she named Tigger. Now, this is not Tigger. There's no way I could get Tigger away from her. Tigger has been a part of her life since she was 8 years old. Tigger is in the bedroom that she shares with her husband, Kyle. And Julie loves Tigger so much that occasionally Kyle will pick up Tigger and look at Tigger and say, "Tigger, I hate you." Well, it's because Julie values Tigger so much, and it's just a little stuffed animal. And when Julie was a little girl and Tigger was already starting to get worn out, if she really loved you, she gave you the honor of kissing Tigger on the end of the nose. And let me tell you, that was one grubby little tiger. Well, the rest of us couldn't see the value in Tigger, but Tigger was valuable to Julie because she bestowed that value on Tigger. You are like that to God. No, you're not a little stuffed animal, but you are of great worth because He chose to impart that value on you simply because you belong to Him. No one else may be able to see it, but He sees it, and that's all that matters. You cannot get more valuable to Him. You are valuable because God said so. He gets to decide what is good. And if He says something good, then it's good. Psalms 139 verses 13 through 16 says this, "For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them." I once helped a mom out and picked up her kindergarten little daughter from school. And I really wanted to make this child feel special. And I looked at her and said, "I am so glad that you are with me today." And she looked at me and said, "I know why." And I said, "Oh, really?" And she said, "Because I am fearfully and wonderfully made." And I thought, good job, Mom. But God said that about you. Good job, God. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. From Genesis, the first book of the Bible, to Revelation, the last book in the Bible, it is about the great value that God holds for the image bearer part of His creation. And yes, you personally are part of this. So the question becomes, why aren't we more like our original design? What happened to us? Is this what God intended? Of course not. Never. Something cataclysmic must have occurred, something that broke God's design. We'll discover it in the next session. And our predicament and our lack of confidence will finally begin to make sense. Until then, open your heart to what it could mean to live like the part of creation that was made personally by the hand of God. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Thank you for listening. I hope to see you in the next session.